I'm Hilary, a mom in Oklahoma,
And I'm Hannah, a mom in Texas.
and this is Don't You Two Read podcast. Hi, guys. Okay, so we are on our what am I trying to say? Like the semifinals episode of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Today we're going over chapters 13, 14, and 15. So I feel like we have less information than last week, which is good, but still important, but less.
So last week we ended with Hermione as a cat in the
Yeah,
hospital.
the polyjuice potion.
And so chapter 13, the very secret diary starts out and she is still in the hospital. And it's been several weeks.
That cracked me up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it was
weeks.
Christmas. Wasn't that
And
Christmas
we're
break?
yeah,
And this
and
is
we're like
Valentine's Day.
yeah,
That's
approaching Valentine.
that's months. It's
Yeah.
several weeks. This is a lot of weeks.
Yeah, they kind of gloss over that. I mean, they're just like, "Oh yeah, so she's in the hospital for weeks," but you're like, hang on."
This was her probably worst year of her early life because I mean everything like just happened with that and then what's to come.
Yeah, she just had a bad go. But you know what? She's the one who had this idea in the first place, you know?
She had good intentions. She has her consequences and she got really nothing from it because they didn't get any
They
information or
just
anything.
learned that Draco was not the heir of Slytherin. Okay, so chapter 13, the very secret diary. Chapter 13. So we're at Valentine's Day, like you were saying. I mean, that's not the point of the chapter, but that's kind of like the setting of the school. So of course Lockhart is like eating it all up. He has all these Valentines. We know Hermione still has a crush on him, which I can't make any heads or tails of that at all. I don't know.
It's gross, yeah.
But I mean, I guess it makes sense because he's attractive, I guess. I mean, how old is she? 12? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I remember thinking Orlando Bloom was very cute. Yeah, but we know she's sending him a Valentine, and I mean, we don't know that, but we kind of assume. And then she was sleeping with like, because he wrote her a goodwill note or get well letter or whatever, and we know she's sleeping with it under her pillow. So
Hmm.
she's got it bad for this guy.
And that refreshes my memory. She has been keeping up with her school. She's just been doing like homework. I mean, like homeschool from the hospital pretty much because Ron made a comment to her that if he had whiskers, he would not be doing his anything, any schoolwork at all. She's like, "Well, I have to keep up. I have to keep up with my studies." So she is still doing her work. She's just not going to class. Which I'm wondering too. I'm like, is that just to avoid embarrassment? Or why? If she's well enough to do her homework, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be going to class either. So we know like Filch is still distraught over Mrs. Norris, obviously being petrified. So he's trying to, they said he's like manning the area where Mrs. Norris got attacked, but they're walking around there and they hear Moaning Myrtle through like the bathroom door. And so they then are like, well, let's see what she's upset about. So they go into the bathroom. And that was like a key information where she's, her normal self, like, woe is me, whatever. But she's like, what are you gonna do? Like, throw something at me, trying to throw a book at me, through me, and whatever. And they're like, what are you going on and on about? And they finally figure out that this did happen, like a book did go through her.
Hmm.
And so that's when they find the diary that the chapter's about.
Yeah, it's a small, thin book. It has a shabby black cover and it was as wet as everything else in the bathroom. So Harry immediately wants to pick it up, and Ron is like, no, 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 you shouldn't do that. Why is Ron always like assumed to be this like dingbat? He always has more sense than anybody else, it seems like. So he's like, this could be dangerous.
I think it's maybe because he's like just goofy. Like I don't know that he's goofy. He's funny.
Yeah, he has a humor.
Definitely more of a sense of humor than any of the characters so far. I would say.
And I do think that's a quality in general that even like in real life, people assume that like if you are silly, then you're stupid, you know?
But he's more sarcastic, I would say, than
Yeah, he's fun. So he's like, what maybe you should think about this before you just go picking up the book. It could be dangerous and
and he's
whatever.
like on edge, Ron is, because of the stuff with his dad.
Yeah, well, because like they're investigating different things. The ministry has confiscated like dark magical books, I guess. There are books that can burn your eyes out. And then he says there was another book that if you read it, you would only be able to speak in limericks for the rest of your life. There was another book that if you started reading it, you could never stop reading the book. So he's like, no, 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 there could be like curses and whatever weird things with the book. But Harry's like, well, we can't really find out anything until we investigate it. So Harry picks it up and it's a diary. The faded year on the cover is dated 50 years old. And on the front, what is it? The first page, he could just make out the name T.M. Riddle in smudged ink.
Which Ron recognized that name.
Yeah, he doesn't have any idea who he is, but Ron remembers this name on a trophy, right?
Yep, he remembers it from whenever he got detention.
Yes, with the slugs.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, I had to polish this award. Like, fifth, that's the one I kept throwing up on. He's like, yeah, that's how I remember it.
And it says the award only said that it was for special services to the school, but it didn't say anything else. Something I saw online, they were talking about this, and they were saying how, like, as the trio is trying to look up information about T.M. Riddle and how it's like not in any of the books or like, all obscure and it's not in their history, you know?
Hmm.
And it's like a common theme coming back to how Dumbledore is always like, don't be scared to say his name.
Yeah.
But like the whole wizarding community, they have. And even like the whole chamber, like the idea of the Chamber of Secrets, how Professor Binns was like, no, we don't talk about it. It's just like legend. And it's like all these things that they've kind of hidden, didn't want to talk about because they're scared, have kind of bit them in the butt.
Yeah, for sure. Like they have not been educating themselves or preparing themselves for this because they were just like, we don't speak about it. We're not going to, which I guess is maybe like as I'm talking through this, like J.K. Rowling's way of like applying that to real world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Like the
sure.
the things that we don't talk about, the things that we lay hidden and we just want to avoid. Those are the
Mhm.
things that will always come back and haunt us, whether it's like in our personal lives or, in a grander scheme of society. And you give it more power than it really should have.
Mhm.
Yeah, so okay, so we find the book and we find out it's TM Riddle. The book is blank. There's nothing in it at all. So they're kind of disappointed, but they know like something's weird with it because I think it's Hermione who's like, hey, remember the chamber? We know the chamber is open 50 years ago.
Mhm.
And we know that this TM Riddle book was from 50 years ago. So maybe that's significant. I do appreciate like in this book, I feel like in the first book, we are like spoon fed all of the stuff.
Mhm.
And in this one, it feels like maybe the kids are putting a little bit more
Mhm.
deductive reasoning or like I don't know if that makes sense. They're like having to put the clues together themselves
For
instead of
sure.
like, oh, well, they just told me. Like Hagrid would kind of like tell them stuff. Oh, this, oops. But in this one, they're having to figure things like put little puzzle pieces together a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so they're trying to figure out like they're trying different stuff to try to get the book to show words like different spells or stuff, but nothing really quite works.
And like the only thing that they know about TM Riddle is just like their guesses, the years, like Hillary said. And then also they kind of assume that he's like the good guy because again, Ron remembers the trophy, like the award for special services to the school, the year that the chamber was open. So they're like, oh, okay, assuming that's that. And then they do look his name up. And the only thing that they can find about him is that he was a prefect and that he was a head boy. But I feel like that was all that they found. They don't really, there's nothing else.
Okay, so we're right around Valentine's Day. So they said like Lockhart had his pink robes and we talked about his class. But I want to I guess I missed this, but there are Cupids singing Valentines to the
Yeah,
students.
that's like my nightmare. And you know what?
Yeah.
I can confirm it because remember the Christmas one that I got? No.
From the underground.
Yes. So
Yeah.
it is, yeah, horrible, horrible.
I forgot because I wasn't there when it
Oh, you
happened.
were not there?
They
Okay.
showed up. Okay, so they're doing Christmas grams like Elf,
Yeah.
and someone who paid for it?
Heather.
Our
Or
sister. And they showed up at my mom's house because
yeah.
Hannah was staying there on her visit, um, and sang to her.
Yeah. It's fine. But I can confirm it is horribly embarrassing. So,
So it happens to Harry. That's what I was just trying to bring up.
yes.
He gets this poem read sang to him, and it was like I don't know. I would not be flattered by like any of this because it says his eyes are as green as a fresh pickled toad, his hair as dark as a blackboard. I wish he was mine. He's really divine, the hero who conquered the Dark Lord. And he's horrified, runs away, and
It's bad.
so in the middle of all this chaos, Malfoy notices that Harry has a journal or diary and I mean, he's just a bully, so he's like, "Oh, you don't want me to look? I'm gonna look," whatever, that whole thing. And then Harry is able to best him at, the spells. So Malfoy's embarrassed, so he yells at Ginny, who's right around there. I don't think Potter liked your Valentine much. I didn't catch it before that Valentine was from Ginny.
Yes. You didn't
And I
know this? I thought that's why you don't like her.
No, well, I mean, before this comment, like at the time, I was like, Who? This is gross. Like, who would send this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it was Ginny. Why? Like, I don't understand. Like, so did she write this? Did she write these words, or did she
Surely
just pay
not.
Cupid? I don't know.
I would hope she would
It
have just,
doesn't matter,
you
but
know
I'm
what
just
though?
curious.
It would make sense if she wrote it because it did not sound that intellectual. I don't know.
But
Okay, so then the ink spilled on it, and then the reason why that, I guess, I don't know, it's just magical because Harry notices that the ink is gone, disappears. So then he's thinking, okay, let me try to write in it because the ink is like disappearing. So then he starts writing in it and he sees that the words disappear and then the diary starts to respond, talking to Harry.
because he wrote like, "Hi, my name's Harry Potter."
I mean, this shows like a kid that he's just like, "Oh, I'm so excited." Because he's not scared. He's not, like, right? He doesn't seem scared. He
No,
seems
he's like,
excited.
"Oh, this is cool. Like, this is a magical book."
Yeah. So then the diary's talking about, well, the diary says that he is TM Riddle and he's talking about the chamber 50 years ago. Harry's asking about it, like,
Yeah, because he's
did
like,
it?
"Do you know anything about the Chamber of Secrets?" And the book is like, "Yes."
I can show you.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I want to say though, this was pretty cool. I thought this was fun, like magic wise. So he like pulls him into the book. I like when there's like little magical moments like that because I could like visualize it. And then, of course, you have the movie memories that showed it. That was cool. So he goes into the book and into Riddle's memories.
So that's how we start to learn, and we will continue to learn about Tom Riddle. And so we learn like he is Muggle born. So his dad is Muggle, his mom is a witch. We know that the mom is dead, died when he was born, and he has been at an orphanage So so we just see like Harry gets to it's almost like a Christmas Carol overlook into the his memory. We see Dumbledore. We know Dumbledore knows Tom Riddle. And then the main thing I think we find out here is we see like a kid Hagrid, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool. Which is funny that it didn't click to him that that was Hagrid at first.
There's a whole conversation about, right, how they're like, we're gonna have to shut the school down.
Yeah, something dangerous is happening. What if the monster gets somebody else?
And Tom, they say his name is Tom Marvolo, named after his father and grandfather, and that the whole point too is that he lives at the orphanage and I mean, it sounded like he hates it there. So he loves being at Hogwarts, which is very similar to Harry. And so he's talking to Professor Dippet and he is like, well, if the attacks stop, then would the school stay open? Because he doesn't want the school to close because he would then be go back to live at the orphanage that he doesn't like. That's where it's going, where he clearly we're led to believe that he knows who's doing it and he can maybe go stop it from continuing the attacks. So in the what is it? In the memory he opens the corridor. What,
Mhm.
right? What corridor? I had a hard time visualizing.
It just says he jumped around the corner and they could see the outline of like Hagrid crouching in front of an open door in a very large box. And he's like, Riddle's like, I'm gonna turn you in. They're gonna close Hogwarts if the attacks don't stop. And Hagrid doesn't really get much of a word in. He just said it wasn't
No.
him. He would never. And then Riddle basically plays himself as this hero that is saving the school because they're going to shut down the school. Uh, but then we see Riddle gets kind of attacked or kind of cuts off, right? Like the memory
Yeah.
kind of cuts off, but
Hmm.
we see like a tangle of legs, pinchers, the thing bowled him over as it was going down the corridor, and Riddle screaming, "No!" And then there's dark. So Harry kind of assumes from this because they were in a corridor and it was where, you know, he has been sneaking around that he's like, oh, it was Hagrid. Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets 50 years ago.
And in Harry's defense, everything has been very sketchy with Hagrid. Like
Yeah, we don't know why he left.
bad, but like we know he was expelled. We know that he can't do magic. He's got the little he's got the umbrella wand. It all makes sense. He got expelled because he opened the chamber.
Yeah, so okay, chapter 14. We are moving on. Is Cornelius Fudge. So that's basically the important part was that they're like, okay, so Hagrid, they're saying, here they go back to their old ways. Hagrid opened the Chamber of Secrets, and they're like, well, we need to learn more about this.
Instead of telling anybody.
Yeah, instead of dealing with it.
And then everybody's still petrified because they're still waiting for mandrakes, which they don't have, I guess. They don't have any on
Because they're
hand.
babies, right?
Yeah, but you would think that, can you not save it?
I don't know.
Anyway, they don't have it. So, and also, isn't it weird that they're babies and then they age and then you chop them up?
Yeah, I was thinking about how are they doing this?
Oh, I mean, they were screaming. So I don't, when they were babies, I don't know. They can't. Anyway, they need that to unpetrify the people.
And in the middle of all this, they're having to pick their courses for the next year, I guess. It's almost Easter at this point. So March, April-ish approaching, but they're having to pick their courses and
Hmm.
they're seriously considering not doing Defense Against the Dark Arts. And Hermione's like, you have to. It's so important. And they're like, yeah, but if it's Lockhart, we're not going to learn anything. So I thought it was funny that ultimately Harry had no idea what to pick, but he just picked whatever Ron picked because he's
Hmm.
like, at least we'll be in the classes together and whatever. That's all that matters. And then they have the Quidditch match, or we start to have a Quidditch match. And then pretty fast, it's like Professor McGonagall kind of shuts it down and like, we're done. There's an emergency, and so that's over.
They all get sent to their rooms, and whenever Harry goes to his room, he sees like it's a mess and everything is everywhere, and he sees that the diary is gone.
And they kind of hint like, hey, the how is it gone from the trunk? The only
Hmm.
person that could come in here would be a Gryffindor because it's password protected to get in here.
That is an interesting point because I feel like they would have, it doesn't say, but I feel like they would have assumed it was Malfoy. But
Hmm.
yeah, so it can't be, has to be someone in Gryffindor. But who
But
would
they kind of
that be?
gloss over it though. They're just like,
Yes,
anyway.
yes. But I like that she does that throughout this whole book.
Hmm.
Very quick little like sentences here and there.
So, okay, but they're like, we need to talk to Hagrid. But all that to say, McGonagall's like, hey, we're shutting down activities. Like, we're not doing extra activities right now. We're just going to go to and from classes. That's it. And like, you need to be supervised all the time. So they're like, well, how are we going to go see Hagrid?
Well, and this is also whenever she gets Harry and Ron to talk to them that there's been another attack, a double attack.
Yes.
One of the girls was a sixth-year girl from Ravenclaw, and then, well, and then Hermione. Oh.
Yeah, it was a big one.
Also, we missed that part, but like Hermione does say at one point, she was like, what were
Hmm.
they talking about? Whenever she said, "Oh my gosh, I have to go. I have an idea.
The
I need to
book. I think
go."
they're talking about the book.
Um, maybe. And so then she was like, when in doubt, go to the library. So she ran off to go to the library. And then that was it. The game was starting or whatever. And then or practice, I don't know what. And that was whenever Professor McGonagall was like, hold on, there's been a double attack. Yes. And they also find a small handheld mirror around where the girls were. So, yeah, like you said, no practice. I think they had to stay in groups. It's a whole thing. But everybody says they've all been attacked except Slytherin. Slytherin has not been attacked, which makes sense with the chamber.
Okay, so they really need to talk to Hagrid. So the only way they can do that is they said, well, I guess we need to use the invisibility cloak. So they're pulling that thing out again. And so they get to Hagrid, but they really don't get to talk to him at all because when they're there, Dumbledore shows up, and then with Dumbledore is Cornelius Fudge, who when did we meet him? Was it this book? I don't know. But he's a minister of magic, and he basically everyone's in trouble. Everyone's in trouble right now. And they said they're gonna take Hagrid, and he's like, "Well, we're gonna take you away." And he's like, "Well,
To
where?"
Azkaban.
Yeah, the prison. He's like, "It's only for a short time, but anyway."
Because I guess he has pressure. Pressure that so many students are getting attacked and they don't have answers. And he's like, well, if it's not you, then we will quickly see that it's not you, and then we'll let you out.
And then Lucius Malfoy shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I've been looking for Dumbledore, and hey, you're suspended." Like the board, I guess he's not. Did they say board? No, they call him the governors, but that's what I believe it is. Yeah, 12
Mhm.
signatures. So they're suspending him because they're like, you haven't done a good job with this. You haven't handled this crisis well.
Which is that, do you think that's fair? I don't know. I don't know what I feel. I'm just curious.
I mean, it is pretty bad. I'm not
What
gonna
is he
lie.
supposed to, what should he be doing?
I don't know, but how many kids now have been like several?
Yeah, it's
It's
not
pretty
good.
bad. Yeah.
So they are still what, under the invisibility cloak?
Yep.
And
But
but
Dumbledore, we know he knows they're there.
But oh, also Dumbledore, he is like adamantly still defending Hagrid. He's like, you can send him to Azkaban and I can be suspended, but this is not going to fix the problem.
Dumbledore knows, obviously Hagrid knows they're there because he answered the door. But so Hagrid makes a comment. He's like, "Well, we just need to follow the spiders," or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously a hint for Harry and Ron. And then Dumbledore, we know from the last book, he knows, like he can see Harry through that invisibility cloak. And he made a quote, where is it?
You will find that I will. only truly have left the school when none here are loyal to me. You will also find that help will always be given at Hogwarts to those who ask for it.
Which is kind of ominous. He's like, "All right, well you can get rid of me here, but I'm still gonna be here and influence here."
Hmm. And that's the end of chapter 14.
Okay, so now we have chapter 15, the last one for today, Aragog.
This is my ick.
So basically, there's a whole panic at Hogwarts. Obviously, like all these people are petrified, and now they're kind of confused because Hermione's petrified, and that is Harry's best friend. And we know there's rumors like that Harry could be the heir, but people are just really confused. And now Dumbledore's gone, and so the whole school is just in a complete state of panic.
So the last thing that Hagrid told them was to follow the spiders. So we've seen it throughout the whole book where there's little spiders, like where it's water at the crime scene areas. There's a bunch of water flooding and there's little spiders.
Which is not normal.
No. So they follow the spiders. Well, Ron and Harry, they follow the spiders to the Forbidden Forest. They also take Fang, who is Hagrid's dog, because Hagrid did ask them to take care of him while he is
He's
out.
like, well, someone has to feed him.
Yeah, so they go at night and they find the Fort Anglia. I guess the Fort Anglia finds them.
Yeah.
And all the spiders, they're they follow them to Aragog.
Which is a huge spider, which basically made me think of Shelob.
Yeah, oh,
For
it's
those of
so
you that don't know,
gross.
that's the spider from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so Aragog is loyal to Hagrid.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Harry is like, don't kill us because immediately Aragog is like, oh, dinner time. And Harry's like, no, 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 no. Like, Hagrid needs help. Hagrid needs help. Aragog is like, okay, well, so he kind of tells him story time.
Yeah, he's like, well, what's going on with Hagrid? Why? And they said, well, he's being arrested. They've taken him to Azkaban because they believe that whatever, like that he had something to do with the Chamber of Secrets. And Aragog's like, no, that's not true. Like, I didn't come from the Chamber of Secrets. I had nothing to do with that. That's a lie.
Yeah, he said that he was not born in the castle. Someone gave him to him as an egg to Hagrid, which I'm like, big surprise.
Yeah, it
And
adds up to me.
Hagrid has not changed at all. So Hagrid took care of Aragog as a kid, and then eventually he gave him a home in the forest. And the spider says he never attacked anybody at the school, and that one girl was killed 50 years ago.
He found the body.
Yeah, who was in the bathroom. I was like, my notes say, dun dun dun. Who
Hmm.
was the girl? So Aragog says that the monster in the castle is ancient and they don't speak of it, they do not name it. And he's like, okay, that's the end of the story, and now we're gonna eat you.
And then the car saves them,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Which is funny too that Aragog, I don't even think he cares about Hagrid. I feel like he just owes Hagrid a debt for Hagrid.
Yeah, because he's like, I don't care either way. Like, you're
No.
close to him, whatever. But the car saves Fang, saves Ron, saves Harry. So they're able to get in the car and it takes them out of the forest and they're okay. And then, so Ron basically like collapses from terror because he's terrified of
Oh
spiders.
yeah,
He's
yes.
had his fill of spiders for
I
the
don't blame
evening.
him at this point.
Yeah, because he's like, I was almost killed. And he goes, I'll never forgive Hagrid. Of course, Ron's like, that's exactly Hagrid's problem. He always thinks monsters aren't as bad as they're made out. And look where it's got him is Cell in Azkaban, which is accurate. Again,
Yeah.
even Ron at 12 gets it. So anyway, Ron goes to bed. He's done. But Harry is like, man, I have a lot to think about. And he remembers, he's like, hey, Ron, remember the girl they found in the bathroom? What if it's Moaning Myrtle? And so here we go back to, we know we're going to have to find out more information about that. But that's where it ends. And so next week we just have 16, 17, and 18. And that's it.
Mhm.
Like they're not big chapters.
No,
So they're short, three short chapters.
I'm sad, but I'm excited. I'm really excited to finish it. It's been it went fast, but also like I'm excited to finish it. So, yeah.
Yep, it's been a good one. Okay, so you can find me at Hilary Reads,
And I'm at Hannah Reads.
and our Instagram is our podcast is at Don't You Two Read Podcast. So come find us. We love to talk to you guys. And next week we will wrap this up, and then in 2 weeks we'll start our new adventure, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, find us on Instagram. Tell us what you're reading on the weekend, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.